What a little... Hey guys, it's your friendly neighbourhood Boobian here, Bodgery, and I'm here to review Rose, Series 1, Episode 1 of Doctor Who, yeah! So, yeah, this is my first review of NuWho, and yeah, my experience with Rose as an episode has been quite different to a lot of other people's. I have kind of a unique take on it because I didn't start watching Doctor Who super later on. However, I didn't start watching Doctor Who when it first aired, so Rose wasn't my first episode. Bad Wolf was, and if you want to know more about how I got into Doctor Who and why I love it so much, I'm going to point in this direction, and click on this video, and basically that will tell you my story about Doctor Who in the previous video. If you've already seen it or you just like feel like watching it, that's cool. You can stick around here. But basically, I didn't end up watching Rose for the first time until long after Series 2, which was in 2006. So it would have been between 2006-2007, between Series 2 and Series 3. And yeah, that's when I started watching Series 1 from beginning to end. So my experience of it is quite different. It doesn't hold that nostalgia that other people personally have, but I still am very fond of it. So yeah, let's dive in to Rose. So, when it comes to Series 1, or Season 27, depending on your preference, I'd say it's probably one of my favourite series of NuWho. I'm pretty sure it's actually my favourite series of NuWho. I just love the story arc from Episode 1 to Episode 13, basically, from beginning to end. I think Christopher Eccleston was a great Doctor. Even though I have very mixed views on Rose, I feel like as a character she's held up really well, and she's written very well, even though as a person I don't particularly think that she's the best person in the world. I feel like her character is written really well and really consistently in this series. I feel like there's only one episode that I don't particularly love in the series. Apart from that, I love every episode in the series. But anyway, I'm going to stop talking about that because I'm going to do series overviews at the end of the full series of episodes that I have reviewed. So yeah, let's start off with Rose. I love the way it begins. I think that the way it begins is really beautifully done. I think the CGI holds up to today, and it's like 2018 right now. So I understand why the shot from the moon zooming in right into the UK and London was reused so much by the production team, because they must have spent quite a lot of money back then for it. Remember, this is 2005, and Doctor Who didn't have much of a big budget at the time, so that must have been difficult for them. And it's a gorgeous shot, really gorgeous. And yeah, basically the show starts like that, and then you see the alarm, Rose's alarm clock, 7:30 I think it was, and it goes off, and then you see her dead head, her messy room, because gotta remember, Rose was like 19 when she first appeared in Doctor Who, so she was quite young. Yeah, it's just, I love this sequence. Just going to take a moment to just praise Murray Gold on all of his work on Doctor Who. I think he's done an amazing job, and I think Series 1 shows one of the best scores that he's ever done. Especially at the beginning, I believe Westminster Bridge plays. That's one of his scores. and it just really encapsulates the vibrancy and the hecticness of London, with Rose's basic day routine, her going to work in London, in Henrik's I think the shop's called, and her meeting her boyfriend for lunch. And honestly, during that sequence there was barely any dialogue. I think there was a couple of laughs and stuff, but barely anything. But during that sequence I learned more about her as a character than I probably learned about Clara in the whole of Series 7, when she was in the whole of Series 7. Honestly, I kind of miss the days of character development being pivotal to the story, because companions should feel like people, and I feel like recently they've deterred from that a little bit. But yeah, I definitely believe that sequence was really needed. It gave you a feel of this character that you were gonna have a journey with, you know. And yeah, I miss it. I miss it. A lot of people criticise Russell T Davies on his soap opera storytelling, even though I think Stephen Moffat is even more soap opera than Russell was. But you don't need to spend a ridiculous amount of time on just the character or the companion to be able to get a feel of the companion, and that was proven in that sequence. And yeah, I just very big fan. Yeah, so the music stops as Rose has finished her day at work and somebody's handed her some lottery ticket. She goes down to the electrician to pick up his funds of it, and then the music stops, and the use of sound in this episode was really good. Murray and Ben Foster did a great job in handling when to use music and when not to. Another criticism of Murray Gold as a composer for the show was that he overused music and it was blaringly loud and it takes away from the moment, but he does do really good music editing, especially in the earlier days, where he knew when the score should be playing and when it shouldn't, and it just completely stops with the ding. And yeah, really well done, because it really holds like a lot of suspense in that moment, because you're just like, ooh, what's happening, what's going on, and it adds to that creepy atmosphere. Yeah, we should take a moment right now to give our condolences to Rick Wilson. The suspense in this moment, again, no sounds, complete silence. The only sound you hear are the sounds from the space that she's in, which is like the basement, so you hear the hisses and the clanks of metal, and that's really helps with the suspense and the scary atmosphere of it. And yeah, there are some moments when watching episodes like this where you do feel your nostalgia come back, where you remember how it was when you first watched some certain moments. And this was one of those moments where you kind of remember as a kid how you felt when you first watched them. And yeah, Rose goes into a room looking for Wilson still, and there's a bunch of plastic dummies, like mannequins, and they all start moving very slowly, and you hear the like squeaky plasticness of it, and that was even creepier, just hearing it go, and it was just, yeah, it was really quite creepy. And Rose is obviously like going, what's going on? Is this some sort of prank? Is this a joke? I remember as a kid, just me in my head, because I'd already watched Doctor Who for the whole series 2 and stuff. You know, you understand the world is kind of like a small form of dramatic irony there. And I was just kind of screaming at the screen going, Rose, get out! You're an idiot! They're evil! Just run away! And yeah, she was absolutely helpless, and the hand goes up, and I love Christopher Eccleston in this moment. I just love Christopher Eccleston as a Doctor. I'm going to take a small moment just to say Christopher Eccleston is great in his role. He plays it so well on so many levels. He's funny when he needs to be, he's dark when he needs to be, he's mysterious when he needs to be, and sometimes he's all of that at once. He just plays the role so well, and every second he's on screen, you just sort of hang by every word he says. And I'm a huge fan of him as an actor in general, but especially in Doctor Who. And it's so sad that he only did 1 year. His first words, which I think were the perfect first words, saying "run" for the first word was a great line for the Doctor to say. But yeah, I think showing the threat early on and showing that there's consequences to that was really quite a bold move from Russell, and he does do a lot of bold moves for Series 1, especially considering that this is the first series of a show that isn't particularly, let's say, at the time where before it got revived, at least it wasn't the most loved BBC TV show. He took some risks, and I sort of wish that the show will do that more with Series 11, because those risks really paid off. And he was ballsy, and he wasn't afraid to take those risks, especially for a show that targeted their families or younger audiences as well. He wasn't afraid to go darker with it, and I feel like I love Billy Piper and Christopher Eccleston's chemistry. They have great chemistry, and they just sort of bounce off each other really well. And the Doctor in this episode is just so banterous. He's just always throwing quips at her, throwing her off. And it's really quite funny, just seeing her reactions to it. And Rose is completely like, what's going on? Completely terrified, completely confused, and he's just like, every day for him. And I love that, because it's almost like he's getting a laugh out of the fact that she's so flustered and confused. He's kind of like egging it on a little bit, and he's just like, well, yeah, it's just a plastic arm, it's armless. And he makes cute little puns like that, and it's just brilliant. I just love their rapport together. And Rose is asking all these questions, and he's just sort of dismissing it. I like that, because that's something quite unique thinking about it now. The Doctor is usually quite willing to spout out what he's doing and how he's doing it and everything like that. But in this, with this type of Doctor, he's sort of dismissive and pushing people away, and so he's not going, oh yeah, this is how I did it and this is how I did that. He's sort of like saying, nope, go along, off you go. And he's sort of just pushing her along like she's some toddler that keeps on following him. He basically explains the plan that those beings are made out of plastic, and they've got some evil plan, and that he's going to blow the place up, and that they should run, that she should run for it. They like exchange who they are, like it's like, I'm the Doctor, I'm Rose, and it's quite an iconic moment, and it's a great way to start the show with a bang, you know, keep it filled with suspense, energetic, keep you at the edge of your seat. That's Doctor Who at its best. So yeah, the Doctor's choices aren't particularly like those good guys who are like the White Knights who do everything they can to make sure that nothing is harmed or scathed. He will sometimes do things that are morally grey to do the right thing, and you know, blew up the whole place, even though it meant that he might be perceived as a threat or an enemy. He still did it, and she's completely shocked. what a nuts day for her. And I love, again, with the introductions, I love it when she runs past in running home, and the camera just pans and you see the TARDIS, the blue block, the blue police block, just in an alleyway in the corner, so it's not like front and centre, just slightly off the side, and then the music cues just the Doctor Who theme. It's just, there are moments like that where you just go, this is really good. We are introduced to two new characters, Rose's family essentially, who will basically be a big part of her story for the next couple of years while she's on the show. And Mickey Smith, her boyfriend, and Jackie Tyler, both characters that some people love, some people dislike. I completely love both of them. I love their character arcs throughout both the series that they're in, seeing how they're grown. And it's really interesting watching their first episodes, because on the surface they come across as quite unlikable, but you don't really know their stories, which is why you kind of see that I think Russell was trying to go for with Nikki, with the bad boyfriend, the sort of guy that doesn't really care about her, but he doesn't really come across like that. I think he was trying to have him come across like that, but he sort of comes up as a buffoon or an idiot. Even in this episode and in future episodes, they continue that idiot buffoonery, which I don't particularly like, especially with the fact that Nikki is very capable. Of course, Jackie's waiting there too, and they're worried about her. They're like, "Are you okay? What's wrong?" Usual family stuff, because they don't know what's happening. It's all over the news that there's been an explosion. And their reactions to the explosion are quite humorous, but also really real. Jackie goes in a frenzy, telling all of her friends, also trying to find ways of getting compensation for Rose. And even though it might seem selfish, it's sort of like a coping mechanism for her, you can tell, as a character, and it's a very mum thing to do. And then Mickey shows concern, and again, I think Russell T Davies, writing this episode, he was trying to make Mickey into this sort of bad guy by saying that he's paying more attention to the match, because he goes off to the pub to watch a football game than to Rose. But again, it doesn't come across like that, because he does show concern, and he doesn't leave until Rose was literally like, "You can go, it's fine." And you know what? He's really young too, so it sort of doesn't come across like he's an absolute, just an absolute idiot. Like there's he's a bad boyfriend. Next day, I love how it cuts to black and it goes back to the 7:30 alarm clock thing. The way that they sequence this episode works well in understanding what's going on without actually having to use exposition and telling us what's going on, all stupid, silly voiceovers and stuff. And the doctor returned in the morning again, in search of a signal from the plastic, which was through the arm. The doctor walks in, with hilarity, of course. There's a lovely bit where the doctor looks in the mirror, and he's checking out his ears, and it's basically suggesting that this is the first time he's seeing his physical appearance. And a plastic hand starts attacking them, and stuff like that. You can only really happens in shows like Doctor Who, where the threat is a disembodied plastic arm, and it's not even got daggers or guns or something. It's just grabbing onto people's faces, and it's brilliant. The doctor stops it, and he's running down the stairs, and as before, Rose is running after him, asking all these questions, and he's just like, "Nope, not going to tell you," really dismissing it. But she does succeed. Her crying just slowly breaks him, and he begins to tell her the plan. It kind of tees up into this really beautiful moment. I think most people who've watched Rose knows what I'm talking about, where the doctor is about to leave TARDIS, and Rose is asking, "But who are you? What are you doing here? How come you're the only one?" And he basically explains how everybody else is busy going on with their normal lives, that they didn't realise that most of the time there's a war going on underneath their feet. And when Rose asks him who he is, he comes up with this beautiful speech about how the Earth rotates.
Do you know, like we were saying about the Earth revolving? It's like when you're a kid. The first time they tell you that the world's turning, and you just can't quite believe it because everything looks like it's standing still. I can feel it. The turn of the Earth. The ground beneath our feet is spinning at 1,000 miles an hour, and the entire planet is hurtling around the sun at 67,000 miles an hour, and I can feel it. We're falling through space, you and me, clinging to the skin of this tiny little world, and if we let go, that's who I am.
The whole concept of it, and the fact that he feels that every moment, and you it really paints a picture of how alien, how ancient he is, that he has all of that still buzzing around in his brain, that he actually feels the earth moving, that he values life on such a fundamental level that he feels like every moment should be cherished, because if you let go, you lose everything. And it's such a beautiful moment, and there's just, that's who I am, and he just says that he's leaving, and he just leaves her. They've done a story where Rose meets the Doctor by chance, the Doctor meets Rose by chance, but in the third act it's sort of close to Rose trying to investigate the Doctor and find out why he's here and what he's doing, which comes to this what I find quite a hilarious scene where Rose uses her version of Google, which is BBC's searchwise.net, that popular search engine that everybody uses, and of course she puts in like Doctor Who TARDIS, and the first thing that comes up is something that directly links to what she's looking for, because of course that's how the internet works. which is funny. And one of the greatest characters of all time, Clive, is introduced. Rose meets up with Clive, who has this conspiracy website, which, I don't know, it might still be live. Let me check. See this, but it's like, yeah, it's still there. That's brilliant. So yeah, there's a Doctor Who website that you can go on, a Clive one, his conspiracy page, and it's still there. It still exists, which is brilliant. Like after, I don't know, 13 odd years, it's still around, which is completely brilliant. So yeah, she finds that page, she contacts him, they meet up. I love how Mickey's there and he's all protective over her and he's like, you could be like some internet weirdo. She's watching it. But Clive starts to explain that he's been looking for the Doctor throughout history, and he's got all these accounts like the Titanic and tsunamis in China and all of these different places in different eras of time, the JFK assassination, and there's just pictures of the Doctor, the same man, that is all over the time, and he uses this really creepy foreshadowing.
The Doctor is a legend woven throughout history. When disaster comes, he's there. He brings the storm in his wake, and he has one constant companion.
Who's that?
Death.
Rose is understandably freaked out, thinking that he's an absolute nut, but also she sees the truth in it, and that sort of freaks her out even more. So she comes out and she's like, oh yeah, he's an absolute nut. But during that time, there's some shenanigans that Mickey's been up to. Of course, Mickey has been playing with some wheelie pins and got sucked up into one with a comical burp. Yes, Doctor Who is a television show that is not afraid to burp and fart for humour, and this was no exception. Mickey gets eaten by a plastic wheelie bin because it's plastic, and the Autons who control plastic, part of their evil plan was to have the wheelie bin eaten and recreate a plastic version of him so that they can get information about the Doctor. And this is one of the best acting that Neil Clark has ever done. To jack up his adulthood or any other stuff that he's done, his Auton Mickey, that's Oscar-worthy stuff right there, man.
Win. What are we gonna do tonight? I fancy a pizza.
Pizza. Pizza.
Or Chinese.
Pizza.
The fact that Rose has no idea that her boyfriend looks completely different as Autumn version of him is kind of worrying. They drive off for some pizza, And who happens to be there but the Doctor?
Ah, gotcha. Don't mind me. I'm just toasting the happy couple.
On the house!
Anyway.
Again, chaos ensues. I love the extras in this because their facial expressions are brilliant. Them running away and the screams, and the Doctor pulls off Mickey's head in all of the ensued drama, and the head starts speaking and says, "That's not going to stop me," and absolutely nuts action. Only in Doctor Who, just brilliant, And yeah, the Rose and the Doctor run for it, and right outside in this dark alleyway is the TARDIS, and this scene. Oh my god. Oh, the feels I feel in this scene, it is the best, in my opinion, the best, one of the best TARDIS reveals, like, through the interior reveals ever. Like, Rose is in a situation here where there's this thing smashing things up, chasing her. She doesn't know where to go. She's like, "Where are we going to go?" Well, Doctor's like, "No, it's okay, we're just going here." Because again, he's all calm and chill, because this is every day for him. And she's just like, "This is a wooden box, what are you talking about?" And the thing's smashing, and she's got to either go in there or get cut up. So she runs in and she sees what's in there and she completely freaks out, and I love it. And it's just so real. And sometimes with the newer ones, excluding Bill, I love Bill gets into it. The newer ones, they're freaked out, but it doesn't feel so real. They're like freaked out for a second and then they're just cool about it. But with Rose, she's completely like, whoa, what? And she then runs in. They do the Doomsday theme.
They follow us.
The assembled hordes of Genghis Khan couldn't get through that door, and believe me, they've tried. Now, shut up a minute.
And Murray's just such a genius. He did this by accident, but it's just still genius. The theme that they use as the motif for Rose's last episode, really sad episode, which they name Doomsday, and the theme is called Doomsday, happens to be our last episode where, really sad where she leaves, but the first time that Rose enters the TARDIS fully, they use the same theme, and the link wasn't meant to, it wasn't meant to happen that way. Rose's Doomsday theme that was used in Rose when she first steps into the TARDIS was meant to be a one-off thing, but Murray God loved it so much that he wanted to use it like a full rendition of the theme for the next year, and he was like, "Why don't we use it for her last episode?" And they ended up calling the theme of the last episode, and that's just the fact that it ties her story together, and that her stepping into the TARDIS is sort of the beginning of her journey, and it foreshadows her end. It's just that was beautifully done. There's one thing to call the Doctor alien and have a character that says, "Yeah, I'm alien, but he looks like an average bloke in a leather jacket and a jumper, and he's northern." You know, how normal does that seem from outward exposure? But you have to sort of do that divide to make it obvious that he isn't, just your average bloke. He is a bit alien, and they do it in this moment where Rose breaks down and she's like, "Is Mickey dead? Is my boyfriend dead?" And the Doctor hasn't even thought about that. It hasn't even crossed his mind, and she blows up on him because she's using her emotions, she's using her human side and be like, "What's wrong with you? How couldn't you have thought that?" And there are moments throughout the episode where it's like that, where the Doctor is seemingly unconcerned about people's feelings, and it takes him a long period of time for him to go,
You alright?
but he's in defensive mode here.
You are alien.
Look, if I did forget some kid called Mickey,
Yeah, it's not a
it's
kid.
because I'm busy trying to save the life of every stupid ape blundering about on top of this planet. Alright?
Alright.
Yes, it is.
Human aspect that the Doctor sort of lacks. He needs somebody to ground him with. which is what makes the companion and Doctor relationship. We're in the final stages now. The Doctor and Rose dematerialise and reappear, and they have it out of in a different area. The Doctor is using the head to track the area where they ultimately may be based, and he thinks he loses it, and she sort of warms to him after a while because of the Doctor's ludicrous behaviour, the fact that he's just like, yeah, the TARDIS is in the skies and it's this big blue box that has no place in its time. And the Doctor explains his plan again, trying to find the base.
Can you hide something that big in a city this small?
Hold on, hide what?
The transmitter. The consciousness is controlling every single piece of plastic, so it needs a transmitter to boost the signal.
What's it look like?
Like a transmitter. Round and massive, somewhere slap bang in the middle of London. A huge metal circular structure, like a dish, like a wheel, radial, close to where we're standing. It must be completely invisible. What? What? What is it? What? Oh. Fantastic.
Comedic moments like that where you think, could this be too goofy or too cheesy? And it doesn't feel like that because it's earned through emotional moments. And what's better is that they run, both grab each other's hand at the same time. It's really sweet. And yeah, the nesting consciousness who controls the plastic is down in the basement of the Big Ben. Then we realise that Nikki's alive, and the Doctor speaks to the Nestine, and they allude about the Time War.
It's not true. I should know. I was there. I fought in the war. It wasn't my fault. I saved your world. I couldn't save any of them.
And I love the fact that the Time War isn't technically the big mystery arc, but it's a mini subplot that is just slowly woven out throughout the series, so we know more about it. And it explains the Doctor's absence for all those years that he wasn't, where the show wasn't on, and the fact that he just refers to it as the war, and the consequences of the war being why the Nestine have come to Earth in the first place, because they need a new planet, and this one's the right fit for them, because their other planets were destroyed in the Time War. And so you see the weight of the responsibility that the Doctor feels like he has over everything that's happened in this moment, and it's beautiful. It's great acting from Chris Eccleston. You can see it on his face. And you know, I talked about good CGI in Doctor Who, but the nesting consciousness definitely a bit of bad CGI. Not gonna lie, it doesn't look too great. And yeah, the Doctor gets captured because the Nestine realises he's a Time Lord, part of the war, recognises the ship and freaks out, goes full mode, complete invasion. The transmitter starts transmitting all of the plastic barriers to life. Towns getting destroyed and wrecked. Poor Clive, poor Internet Clive, gets killed. Jackie's shopping, so she's in all of the muck, so Rose's mum's in trouble. The Doctor is captured. They realise that he has a concoction of anti-plastic that will kill the Nestine consciousness. He's only using it just in case. Just in case. Everything is dire and it looks like the world is about to be ruined. But this episode is based on Rose, so it would only make sense that Rose would be the one to be part of the resolution. She could have stayed there hopeless with Nikki, but Rose is different. Rose is determined to find a way, and it sort of rounds off her story arc, the fact that she's not really fulfilling the life that she's living. So run through it, get into the TARDIS, explosion, and then the final scene.
Yeah, as a character, for me, this is where she starts to lose my favour, let's just say. So she calls up her mother to find out if she's still alive, and when her mum has genuine concern for her, she just smiles and hangs up. And how selfish and rude is that? Your mum, it was in a situation where she could have died, and she's probably thinking, have you gone outside? Have you actually died? And you couldn't say, I'm okay, mum, I'm going to be alright, I might not be around for a little bit, just relax, I'm okay. What you instead do is you completely hang up on her, making her worry even more, and then you leave with a stranger. That was the first issue I had with Rose's reaction to the doctor's invitation. I started to go, why? That's unnecessarily selfish and rude. And it's just disrespectful to people that love you, your family. But she also goes up to Mickey and she says,
Thanks.
Thanks for what?
Exactly.
Mickey's been traumatized. He's been kidnapped by an alien species. He doesn't know what could have happened. He could have died. He's sweating, lonely, and completely hopeless. And you made some cheap joke to him, and then ran and left him on the street on his own. Considering what had happened to him, couldn't have even said, you know what, can I take him home first? Make sure he's okay, because he's probably a complete mess. And considering what ends up happening to him, considering the fact that Rose leaves and nobody hears from her for spoiler alert if you haven't seen the episode yet, in Aliens in London, when she comes back 12 months later, and Rose's mum Jackie thinks that Mickey has killed or kidnapped her, and for the whole year Mickey's been under the police's eye as a potential criminal, and there's no much of a thank you because Mickey kept the secret of what actually happened to her, kept his mouth shut, and it just comes across like Rose is being really selfish, and she's just thinking about herself, and she's not thinking about how her actions hold consequences for other people. And that's the beginning of my dislike for her as a character. One thing that I do have in her favour is that even though she's like that, she's consistently written like that, and she's a well written character, but her as a person is something that I always have a slight issue with. And that's my biggest gripe on her and on this episode at the end, is that it kind of comes off in a sour way. It doesn't feel like a happy resolution, happy ever after situation. It always feels like a sour taste in my mouth. And the episode ends, and it, essentially starts off a whole new era of Doctor Who. It does a great job. I think it's a very solid episode, really good start to the series. Starts off what I like to call the urban thriller of NuWho, which usually takes place in like London, as a series opener, and has some sort of alien threat, urban thriller, But yeah, it does a great job. The Doctor is on form completely from beginning to end in this. Looking through Doctor Who through Rose's eyes was really fascinating, and the fact that Rose was really the first sort of common, down to earth, you could imagine meeting Rose on the street and saying hello to her sort of companion was kind of groundbreaking and never really done before in Doctor Who, considering that the show was over 40 years old at the time. That's pretty cool. The concepts of the Time War and how that affected the Doctor was new, and I feel like Russell T Davies did a really great job in introducing Doctor Who to a new audience. making him still mysterious, considering the fact that you have a lot of lore behind that anyway, but also he did a good job at satisfying the long-term fans who were watching Doctor Who after it come back and been watching the show since the 60s or 70s or 80s, or even from people who just got into it from the 90s, through the TV movie and through other mediums. He sort of did a great job in satisfying everybody, and he pushed forward for great adventures to come, and that, in my eyes, is the best way of introducing the show. The story as a whole was very solid. Maybe the villain was a bit underdeveloped, but considering that it's a 45-minute episode and everything that he had to fit in, you know, the story wasn't based on the Autons, even though it was a really nice nod to the classic Who and bringing them back. The story wasn't about the Autons, the story was about Rose and the Doctor and them forming their relationship, and he did a great job with that. And yeah, next time trailer, End of the World, that's coming up next. I'm going to be reviewing that. But yeah, I think this was a very good episode. What do you guys think? What do you guys think about Rose? Tell me about your first experiences with it. Have you watched Rose? Haven't you watched Rose? How do you find Rose as a character? How do you find the Ninth Doctor? How do you find Series 1 as a whole? Just tell us. You can comment down below in the comment section, or if you want to hit me up, you can message me on Twitter at Podgery or anything else. You know, I'm always here, I'm always open. If you liked what you saw, just click that like button, and if you want to see more, just subscribe. And yeah, I'm going to do loads more of these reviews, not just for Doctor Who. I'm going to do other shows too in the future, but keep you posted on that. And yeah, it's your friendly neighbourhood Who signing out. Peace out!